job.
It is I, returning from the grave, SneakyDevil. And this is your favorite fan fiction podcast, only hosted on 7 p.m.s every Tuesday and Friday. Fanfiction, Contempt Theater 9002. Today we are joined by only Atin, because everyone else apparently has better things to do.
I'm the only one.
Yep. You're the only one
Atin.
to show up. Yep. Only Atin.
Atin.
Yep.
Nobody write that fanfiction. That's a terrible fanfiction.
You should change your name to that. Only Atin.
I don't want to encourage them.
Well, because no, then you get like really clever, witty things like only Atin killed you. You killed only Atin.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Back in the day, did you ever play Medal of Honor on the PC? Like Allied Assault.
We all know what it was.
Like you change your name to
you
like
did it in Medal of
H2O
Honor. You
or
did it
Santa.
in the Jedi Knight Jedi Academy multiplayer. Which, side note, that was some fantastic multiplayer.
Yeah.
Well, let me rephrase that. The objective mode.
Well, back in the day, what we had available to us.
Yeah. I mean, it was still pretty good.
But anyway, that is not the point. The point is we are here to read fan fiction that has been hand-selected by the random number generator. Actually, that sounds like a really good idea.
Wait, I'm sorry, what are we doing?
Just because you know how fan fiction keeps hold of all of the fan fictions that are posted to it by assigning them a sequential number. If Zeeks could whip us up a random number generator, so it'll generate a number between 1 and the current fanfiction number, and we just read that fanfic. The most random method possible. I mean, it'll probably suck because we don't know like 90% of the fandoms, but you know.
Yeah.
It's called Random Fix and Flipper. Oh, there we go. You learn something new every single day. So, let's see what we got here. We got Pokemon Bloodborne, we got Overlord Bloodborne. You know Overlord, right? The anime, not the game?
Yes. I prefer the anime over the game. I think the anime is more fun.
You know those are separate fandoms, right?
I do know they're separate things.
Okay.
I'm just saying, I constantly hear them referenced, and for me, because I find the anime to be more fun, that's what my brain defaults to.
That's fair enough. Okay, so, and then I shall link out to you, the viewers, in the Discord, the fanfic we're going to be reading today. And of course, I would be remiss if I did not remind you all of the requirements by Twitch guidelines that says, do not contact these authors at any point in time, as that is considered harassment, and, they don't like that.
We don't like it either.
Well, I mean, I would really like the authors to contact me. That would be great. But they don't do that. Usually. And when they do contact me, it's usually, I didn't give you permission to use this fanfic. And I'm just like, you know this is
That's
fanfic,
too bad. You
right?
put it on a public website.
Well, not only that, it's like, I didn't give you permission to use this fanfiction. It's like, the author didn't give you permission to write it, so we're even. I need to disable the splash screen. Well, I haven't started yet, Zexels. Now I have. So this is an Overlord the Anime Bloodborne crossover, which I'm sure you can imagine sounds like an excellent idea that's going to be executed so poorly you're going to invent new words to curse the ancestry of this author. Now, this is just my bias speaking, of course, but I have been hosting over 300 of these now, almost. I think we're nearing that number. Anyway, let's continue on. Acts and Absolution. by Raven Alma. The Great Cross-Continental War has finally ended after 8 grueling years. Now struggling in poverty, Dr. W. V. Mendoza works to be able to support his family of 4. But with the breath of the Whistle Gang behind him,
Who?
Mendoza must decide quickly before his family is taken away. What will he do to protect his family? Alternative universe, Overlord, Bloodborne, Last of Us, and etc. crossover.
I'm sorry. It's no, 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 no. You don't get to put etc. That's
I
not how a list of things you're going to put in your story works.
This is the first one of the series. What? 9 favorites, 14 follows. I wonder why.
You know what? I've got some hope for mankind because of that.
I'm not okay with this one. I'm not okay with this story author at all. Overlord, a change within. A meteor plummets towards Erantel and Ainz quickly acts and deters it from causing total devastation. That's not the word you were looking for, author.
Deterred. Excuse me, I'm going to deter this meteor.
Meteor,
Like,
please do not hit
detour
us.
would have been a better word.
I try and persuade the meteor to not hit us. I intimidate the meteor. However, life merges from it, and Ainz is mysteriously drawn towards it. He gathers the best minds in Erantel and travels forth to discover it. To discover it is the secrets. Oh, wait, no, that is proper form of that's okay. No, I was wrong. So just discover it's the secrets. Okay, not as bad, but still pretty bad. As he will now discover a side of himself he never knew. No punctuation. That hurts me a little bit, but right. So this is a Overlord, Bloodborne, Last of Us, and I ran out of letters to describe what else I'm crossing over. AU that has a original character as its main character, and I don't know what the Cross Continental War is. Do you have any idea?
I don't.
You played Last of Us though, right?
Nope.
Oh, okay. The Whistle Gang. I don't like. Okay. On one hand, I actually genuinely want to sit here and like read the first chapter seriously and give like actual learning experience off of this story about how to precisely create a summary for original content, because how you create a summary for fan fiction is entirely different from how you create a summary for, published works slash original works like this author's basically doing at this point, because it's like a fucking 20 times over crossover. And it's actually a very important difference because you can use keywords in a fanfiction summary to draw in your target audience of, because obviously anyone reading Harry Potter fanfiction, without being paid, is obviously a fan of Harry Potter, right?
as can be assumed from anyone looking at literally any fan fiction.
Right, exactly. So, then you want to draw in your target audience. Oh, well, I want people that like Hermione. So you mentioned Hermione in the summary if she's an important part of the story. There's little things you can do to draw people into a story if it's fan fiction. But on the other hand, when it's an original work, a massive crossover, self-insert AU of basically canon ignoring proportions, or a completely published original work where you're writing your own story entirely separate from any fandom, you can't just be like, the Great Cross-Continental War has finally ended after 8 grueling years. Dr. W.V. Mendoza is now struggling in poverty to support his family of 4. It's like,
Also, a war is over. You'd think there'd be more business for a doctor, not less.
yeah, that's true as well. Well, depending on what kind of doctor he is. Maybe he's a doctorate in gender studies.
Hmm.
But,
I was gonna say. Go ahead. Sorry.
yeah, but you can almost entirely keep the same description. Like, you can entirely keep all of these key words that nobody's going to care about, of course, because we don't know what it is. Like, nobody knows what the war that he's referencing is, unless it's a canon war from one of his etc. crossovers, or what the Whistle Gang is. But with the breadth of the Whistle Gang, I don't even know. Is that some important terminology? I don't know. We don't
Is it a
know.
capital B?
No, it's just with the breadth of the Whistle Gang behind him as a normal B. Like, no, it's not a proper noun. So I don't know. Is it like, is it supposed to be talking about like the entirety of the Whistle Gang? Is like the breadth of the pier? Like, it's taking up the
With all the
whole
fucking
pier?
dead people behind him.
I don't know what is the Whistle Gang. I don't know. Should I care about the Whistle Gang? Um, it says behind him, but then it suddenly switches tracks in the same sentence, mind you, to Mendoza must decide quickly. Must decide and decide quickly before his family's taken away. Why would his family be taken away? The summary has to give us an idea of the general arc or theme of the story. I wish I could pull up. I wish I had books with me. I moved and all my books are at home, so I can't like read the summaries on the back of them. And like digital books don't do summaries anymore, really.
Mm-hmm.
I mean they do the whole product placement summary like on Amazon, but I really don't count those as summaries anymore because you don't have there's no what's the word I'm looking for, space restrictions anymore, because before when it was on a book, unless your book's freaking huge, and nobody's gonna buy freaking huge books, which is why all the sci-fi and fantasy paperbacks are like, size of your hand or a little bit bigger,
Yeah, or
because
it's like why was Lord of the Rings originally split into 3 volumes? Because
thick as
fucking
fuck.
Tolkien wrote it as one thick ass book, and his editor was like,
Jesus.
literally no one will buy this.
Exactly, yeah. Like the original Hobbit is really thick too.
Yeah.
But you have space requirements. You have half a page, quarter page, depending on how good your graphics editor is working with you. Um, you only have so much room to get your summary down,
I
and
was gonna
that
say you
you know,
have at best, at the absolute best, 2, 3 paragraphs.
yeah, at the absolute best. Usually, I remember some of them even being like 3 sentences at most because of the space requirements.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can't. Let's see if Amazon Books is even remotely useful for this.
No, Amazon Books. If you're not doing published works, Amazon Books isn't that useful because Amazon Books they actually have as much space as they want, technically.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to find published books. Um, let's see. We got Pulitzer Prize winners. Um, let's see if we can't find something that's not a documentary. What's this? The overstory. In fiction is sweeping and passionate work of activism and resistance. Just give me a fucking fantasy book, Jesus Christ. For best novels. Okay, here we go. Hardcover. Alright. Let's see if we can't get a good summary off of this. About the author, their editorial reviews, more about this author. Come on, give me a good description from this book. Yeah, here we go. So this book here is called The Collapse of an Empire by John Scalise. Our universe is ruled by physics. Faster than light travel is impossible until the discovery of the flow, an extra-dimensional field available at certain points in space-time, which can take us to other planets around other stars. Riding the flow, humanity spreads to innumerable other worlds. Earth is forgotten. A new empire arises, the interdependency, based on the doctrine that no one human outpost can survive without others. It's a hedge against interstellar war, and for the empire's rulers, a system of control. The flow is internal, but it's not static, just a river changes course. The flow can change as well. In rare cases, entire worlds have been cut off from the rest of humanity. When it's discovered that the entire flow
This
is
is
moving.
so fucking wordy, and I am so done.
Yeah, I know, right?
Like you could have.
Yeah, this is actually my point though, because he's a new author. Yeah, he just started publishing in not too long ago, it looks like. Let's see. Yeah, I'll just pull that up in a second. And the entire flow is moving, possibly separating all human worlds from one another forever. 3 individuals, a scientist, a starship captain, and the Empirox of the interdependency must race against time to discover what, if anything, can be salvaged from an interstellar empire on the brink of collapse. Yes, as Atin said, that is very wordy. But it still does a good description of what's going on in the story, why you should care, the characters involved, and the arc. Again, while it is wordy, it covers all of the bases of what you need to know as a reader before you get into the story without actually giving away anything that's going to happen in the story.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say, and one of the signs of a good writer would be the author going back and looking at this and saying, okay, this isn't a term paper. How can I say this in fewer words?
Right, exactly. Sort by publication date. Yeah, here we go. Let's see, how old is his stuff? 2018, 2017, 2005. Okay, so what? Amazon. January 1st, 1800s. Amazon.
I see. Quite impressive.
It looks like he started writing fictional stories in 2005. Oh no, 94, but yeah. So his very low publish rate. His first story in '94, and then didn't publish another fictional story until 2005, and then following that, his next series of published stories, and this is where he started really publishing a lot of them, was in 2015. So he really started writing fictional works back in 94, but he didn't start publishing them sequentially until 2015.
Gotcha.
But again, as I said before, while wordy, it covers the bases. And again, because everything's digital now, we don't know if this is what's actually on the book inside, or if there's even a book inside anymore giving us the summary. Does it have a back? Yeah, no, the back is just praise for John Scalise. Yeah. So, point is though, is that it still gives us all the information we need. This gives us nothing. Okay, there's a war here. And there's a doctor, so we got the main character, doctor, we got his motivation for his family. But then suddenly there's a whistle gang, and then his family's gone, and now he has to do things to protect his family that's gone. Or they might be gone. But it's an AU of a bunch of series that do not it's one thing if it was like Mass Effect, Halo, Starcraft crossover, and it's like, okay, this is still stupid, but I can sort of see the connection between them all.
There's a lot of shit here, but I get it.
Yeah, you can sort of see the connection between them all. But it's like Overlord, Bloodborne, Last of Us. What is a isekai-esque future combined with a prehistory eldritch and a modern day zombie story have in common? I don't know. Like, what's supposed to be the connecting line between the year 2030, the year 2012, and the year prehistory? Dead Space Bloodborne crossover. Again, I could understand it. They have sharing themes there.
Well, they have shared themes is more important. You could easily, well, I shouldn't say easily, but you could go, the markers are what made the beasts, right?
Okay, what trash am I walking into?
Okay, so it's an Overlord, Bloodborne, Last of Us, and etc. crossover.
This
Quite
should be in
literally,
multi-cross.
etc.
This should be in multi-crossover.
It should be a multi-crossover, but it isn't. But the problem here is that the author's summary gives us no information to work off of anything. Great Continental War lasted 8 years. Now the main character is poor. He's a doctor with a family of 4. And then the Whistle Gang shows up.
Yes,
and his
the Whistle
family.
Gang.
Yeah.
The who?
The Whistle Gang.
Is this an actual thing?
We have no idea. And then Mendoza must decide, the doctor, must decide something before his family is taken from him. But what will he do to protect them? AU. And it's just drama adventure. We brought up an Amazon story, a published, best-selling fictional novel, and read its summary. And it actually, honestly, I'm actually kind of interested in that story. It, like you said, it was a little bit wordy, but it sounds interesting enough for a person who enjoys sci-fi like I do.
What story is it?
Basically, it's what if humanity had point-to-point, like sort of like the Mass Effect, big tuning forks, except it was more warp drivey.
It doesn't tell me the title, Sneaky.
The fall of Empire or whatever. The collapsing Empire.
Bad at this. Collapsing Empire. Oh, I think I've seen this show up in my recommendations.
Yeah.
Yeah, this shown up in my recommendations a couple times.
And like, you know, I'm sort of down for it. But you know, I don't really buy too many new series these days anymore.
Yeah.
But like I said, this story gives us, because this is a fan work, right? Typically, you want fans to read it, but the summary is,
Usually.
yeah, but the summary is so unrecognizable to any fandom that you're advertising to. Like, no one in the Bloodborne fandom is going to click on this and be like, yeah, this is what I came for when I clicked on Bloodborne.
A story about some random guy who isn't the good hunter.
From what we can read of the description, Bloodborne isn't involved in this story at all. So maybe you're an Overlord fan. You click on here for some Overlord fix, and this pops up. What part of this is Overlord? Nothing. So it's just you. What audience are you advertising to? Clearly, as you can see from the favorites and follows, 9 and 14, clearly none of them. And I was talking there and earlier, and I was saying, you know, maybe I should read through the story and try and give a more cohesive summary that sounds more interesting to prospective readers. But then I was like, but I don't really care about this story at all to even bother doing that, because it's just so blatantly wrong. It's like if someone put a computer together by using maple syrup to stick the hard drive into the CPU slot. And it's like, there's just so much wrong here, I'm not even going to bother trying to fix it, you know? Like, you weren't even close. It's not like, oh, you forgot to put the heat compound on to the CPU to connect it to the heatsink. No, you didn't even put the CPU in. You just slapped a hard drive on there and stuck it there with hardened maple syrup.
And then said, this is a toaster.
Exactly. That's how toasters work. The more you know.
You see, I am a toaster god.
Mmm. What are these reviews? This story is so interesting and the atmosphere is great. I hope you don't quit it and update more. What? Does this take place in the Overlord universe at all? This story is well written, but I don't know where are you heading with this story. It's expected for a hunter to be transported into Overlord. Not entirely a hunter into Overlord. I mean, it could entirely be the other way around. You know, some sort of Bloodborne MMO. I don't know how that would work, but you know, fucking fanfic authors. My impression of this story is nothing short of jarring and astonishment. The narration is truly wonderful, the characters organic and relatable, but perhaps not to the point of feeling the same pains. Blah 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 blah. The story is great and wonderful and amazing. I'm not sure how much Overlord and Bloodborne we're going to be putting into this story. I hope you favor the Bloodborne, because I really like this story so much, and I think you would do great with emerging Eldritch creations into it. I hope I'm not overhyping my review, but I just really want to say that your story is great.
Okay. So he's praising the writing, but also apparently has the same worry that we immediately have of, does this have anything to do with the two that you claim it has?
Yeah.
The writing of this is great! When are you going to include any of the categories you put it in for, though?
Is this going to be one of the, like, I've run into fan fictions where it's like, oh, this is really long-winded. Oh, wow, the writing on this is good. Why the fuck are you writing fan fiction and not writing your own fucking shit, you asshole?
Well, I mean, there's quite a number of stories that take a lot of words to say nothing, as is the saying goes. Like I recently read a Star Wars Sword Art Online cross.
Ah.
And I was like, okay, I'll sit down. I'll read it. I'm
How
reading
does that
it.
even happen?
Depending on how the author does it, quite well. I've actually read some pretty good Star Wars Sword Art Online crosses. But this one is 55,000 words long, and it's completed. So I was like, all right, sure, let's read it.
Oh, it's a light novel.
Yeah, and so I'm reading it, and I'll summarize the events for you. It takes the
Yes.
author 55,000 words to say, everyone wakes up from Old Republic Online, and then they escape the planet. That's it. Yeah. Took 55,000 words to say that. And that's where the story ends, is they escape the planet. And it's just like, oh.
And here's the problem with that. The Old Republic Online, there's a lot of potential there.
Nope, just
like the Old Republic is a great game with a fantastic story. So seeing someone like, let's just pretend for a minute that Shiro and Asuna are cool kids and would be playing on the dark side.
Well, dark side is the PKers.
I mean, I kind of get that, but the problem with that is, like a game like, depending on how much they messed with the Old Republic
how they portrayed the Old Republic Online is that you are in the middle of the Sith War with the Old Republic.
Yep.
On the side of the Republic.
So they just made the Sith the antagonists. Okay.
Yes, and Kayaba was the Sith Lord you have to defeat at the 100th planet.
That's a really stupid interpretation, but okay.
It's whatever.
I'm just now having a laugh at Star Wars Galaxies becomes a death game before you could pick Jedi as a class.
Yeah, no,
because I've heard stories about that, how like your character was randomly assigned like force points.
No.
If you were lucky.
Nope. No, it was so much worse than that, Max.
No, they were like hidden values or some shit when you first created a character.
Well, no, so
sometimes you got them, sometimes you didn't, and they would unlock, but you had no way of knowing how they would unlock. It would just be random.
No, there was as far as I know, the only way to make someone a Jedi was there was one mob. It was essentially a world boss in a cave in. It was either Tatooine or the planet just off Tatooine. But it was one of those, and he had, I think it was like a 5-10% chance to drop a holocron. And he respawned on the hour. And so everybody be in the cave, frantically trying to stab him.
How to become a Jedi pre-easy mode.
Pre-easy mode, I like that.
The fandom wiki is very tongue-in-cheek about this.
Oh, is it the pre-NGE thing?
Yes.
Well, no, yeah, I was going to say, yeah, it'd be pre
Star Wars Galaxy players had to spend at minimum of several weeks and often months working towards this goal. The first step of becoming a Jedi was to become a Force sensitive. Part of the problem with becoming a Jedi pre-NGE was that the number of Jedi is limited per server, and that once killed, they remained dead.
Oh!
This difficult path made Jedi something unusual to behold and to cheer when they came to your aid, and to fear when they did not. The first phase of attaining Jedihood was becoming a Force sensitive. There is no set, simple path to this, but general steps that could be taken with extreme dedication and time. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Okay, hold on. It's a whole link on its own.
It's a whole link on... Oh, no! Oh, no! Oh, no!
Right.
Guide from Non-Force Sensitive to Jedi Padawan version 1.6.
Oh, no!
Okay. All right.
Oh, this text is so small.
All right. It's
Oh,
time. I need to see an
Jesus.
SAO crossover now.
Sneaky, have you looked at how small the text is?
Oh
Yeah, I'm
God,
looking
this
at
is
this.
old.
Holy crap.
2004. Oh
Oh, this is
no.
such small text.
Alright,
I'm
so,
looking at it. I'm already looking at it.
point is,
Oh,
From normal
very
to
extensive.
glowing.
Jesus
at least it's color coded.
Just end yourself.
All
And the
right.
best part is, step 1 is I love the fact that step 1 is its own link.
Step 1. Here's the 5,000 word guide.
Then you have a bunch of other stuff.
Then there's 6 more steps.
Yeah.
Get
All right.
ready.
No, I need to see SAO cross Star Wars galaxies. I need to see this now because you know people are going to literally be murdering others to be the most broken class.
Oh my god, there was a whole subsection in here. It's common for Jedi to be hunted by the bounty hunters. The only way to get a player bounty in the game is for a master bounty hunter to get a mission for a player Jedi. To avoid having a mission generated on bounty hunter mission terminals, a Jedi must not gain visibility, which is acquired by using a lightsaber or force abilities within view of other players or NPC. Many Jedi being hunted protect themselves by staying in their private house unless grinding Jedi experience.
Oh my God.
Jesus
I
Christ.
you I
And
want to be a
this is
Jedi.
why
Cool.
everybody loved old Star Wars Galaxies!
Oh my God, you had to go full old Ben.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Because
No,
Star Wars Galaxies was very dedicated to the Star Wars.
Oh my God.
But anyway,
But
so
that's
enough
such
about
a
that.
bad way to run that.
Yes.
Surely there could have been better ways.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so I was remembering wrong. There was a mob that you had to kill, and you needed a group to do it. Because he was level 85.
Anyway. Dr. W.D. Mendoza sat in the middle of the living room across from the fireplace, examining the documents in front of him, shuffling, writing notes, stamping papers, and calculating costs. He pulled back his hair and sunk down into the creaky wooden chair. He pinched his brows and cracked his fingers individually. The dying fire, flickering rapidly, crackling as its dull light warmed one side of his face. The windows were boarded up patchily as some moonlight showered through the open spaces, hitting the ground, while the leaves in the black suit wandered into the house and landed where they pleased. The pipes creaked as what little water ran through them, carrying all the muck and dirt to be later used. The plasters and walls were stripped, leaving only empty spaces between each pillar, holding up the 2 floors of the house. Broken planks, shattered glass, and random tools littered the ground, sometimes even joining the gray leaves in the black suit. Alright, so, I'm not going to read more than this first paragraph, because basically my point was in this story is the guy's very purple prosy as well. And, I'm not reading more of that. But, what we will do is move on to something far more entertaining. Which is to say, painful for you. So, and let me find it here. It's yes, here we go. The Demon Who Lived, a Harry Potter Naruto crossover. Discontinued. Oh,
Thank God!
that was fast.
Oof.
Oh,
July 1st,
oh,
April 7th to July
2001.
1st, immediately discontinued.
That was
He
fast.
got 85,000 words out before discontinuing it.
Yeah.
Holy
Harry
shit.
Potter died as a what the fuck? Harry Potter died as a child that Halloween night, but a demon god decided to give him a second chance at life with a few improvements, of course. Dark God Harry. No pairings yet, but Harry times many at first. Arn says this story is amazing. I'm gonna press X to doubt on that, fam. This will be a powerful, dark, godlike Harry Potter. He'll be unbeatable. So if you don't like that, don't read this story. I never really understood stories like these, you know? It's just like, what's the point? My edgy Harry Potter self-insert is going to raffle stomp all the characters I dislike and have sex with all the characters I like. Why? Why did you spend time writing this, author? That's 85,000 words. It's a lot of time you spent writing a story about nothing, going nowhere. It's even better at chapter 6. The rewritten merge. Oh, chapter 1 rewritten. Oh. Right, is Atin already committed Sudoku?
Yep.
Okay.
Also, I don't know
Juby.
why you think I hate the I don't care about Naruto or Harry Potter.
I know, that's why I'm asking if you committed Sudoku, because you found something better to do.
I mean, they annoy me in that these are the worst stories, but
Yes, they are. Juby, the 10-tailed demon god, was battling its most powerful opponent to date, an opponent many mortals over the years struggled against. Boredom. It had been close to 5 millennia since its second and most favorable host died. Uzumaki Naruto. The boy that had saved all the nations and brought about decades of peace and unity to the world. The Jubi had at first hated its host after the boy had defeated the cursed Uchiha and sealed all 9 Biju within his own body, but after a few years of absorbing the boy's thoughts, memories, and emotions, the demon god had grown to care for him like a parent with their child. Stockholm Syndrome. After the boy's death, that blasted fool shit
I was gonna say,
again.
not just Stockholm Syndrome, magical Stockholm Syndrome.
Indeed. Sneaky, just look at how many discontinued Stockholm Syndrome
Oh boy.
discontinued, discontinued. Discontinued.
Okay. When was the last time this author was active? 2014.
Oh
But
boy.
profile was updated in 2016.
God, this is so edgy. If you think Kishimoto is ruining Naruto and agree, copy this into your profile and add your name to the list. I think Shippuden is going downhill. Sorry to anyone that disagrees with me. Profile updated February 1st, 2016.
Wasn't that like the year after it ended?
If you hate flamers, then join the AAF! Authors Against Flamers. Together, we can destroy the flamers! If you support our cause, copy and paste this into your profile. Guys, we must band together to destroy flammers! Ooh, author, don't you know you don't feed the trolls? Literally creating an organization to fight trolls. It's like steroids for the trolls.
All you do is make them stronger. Like, that's the problem with trying to do anything with, like, poll. If you ignore them, they think they won. If you give them attention, they think they won. No matter what happens, they think they
I would
won.
say there's no winning against poll ever.
Oh god. Okay. Let's get it. What's this one story of my musings? That's the only non-discontinued story. Challenges, one-shots, and plot bunnies of Naruto and Harry Potter variety. Anyway.
Yeah.
After the boy's death, that blasted fool
Thank you,
Shinigami had
Calvin.
dragged both their souls into the underworld. Well, that didn't sit well with Juby, using its immeasurable power and the techniques it had absorbed from Madara and the Rakuta Senate.
Is that so?
The reason why all these people have chakra, author, is because of the Juby.
Shh, that's just silly, Sneaky.
The Juby killed and absorbed the souls of other greater demons and how to increase its own power.
Ugh.
After an epic and monumental battle with death and life, he defeated them both and ruled the realm.
You know, I feel just going out on a limb here. This should have been its own tale. Call me crazy.
Their battle, however, had great consequences on the 5 realms. What, did the land start ripping together, piecing itself back together into a giant Pangea? Heaven, the celestial realm, Earth, the middle plane, Hell, the lower pits, Maki, the demon realm, and Gaia, the summon world, had all clashed and fused together due to the amount of power the 3 gods released. What? Countless summons, humans, and demons had died, only to appear in the same realm as spirits.
I see.
After its monumental battle, the Jubi had set out to split the realms while he was able to recreate 2 realms for the dead, and the fusion between the other 3 was unrepairable, even though with his power. Eventually, time passed. Demons, humans, and summons lived in peace as their numbers grew. I'm gonna press X to doubt on that, fam.
I'm sorry, who lived in peace?
Demons, summons, and humans all lived in peace together.
Okay,
No.
look, can't speak for the demons or the summons, but no,
No.
humans might have settled down for maybe 2 generations.
Look, we're really bad at not being at war. Like, we've had, 15 years of peace in the past 200 years or something?
I mean, no, this is technically the longest period of peace.
Well, no.
Relatively speaking.
We're still in the Middle East. Like, that war was never declared over.
Actually, the Korean War is still technically ongoing as well. It's just a ceasefire.
Yeah, but that doesn't have active conflicts on it.
But yeah, honestly, the fact that humans are surprisingly bad at accepting things that are different from them. So
Well,
I
that's
mean,
not
to be
really
fair,
surprising.
most things on planet Earth are bad at that.
Well, no, that's not really surprising at all, actually. We just happen to murder everything that's different from us.
yeah, so like ideally, yeah, sure, these three races would get along. Um, but the next line of the numbers began to drop for the mythical beasts. No, the humans caused those numbers to drop.
Definitely the global climate warming.
What was you say? Then there's the oh my god, I can't think. Dystopian future game Shadowrun. There's the Shadowrun explanation, which is no, humans didn't kill them all. It's just on a cycle that conveniently took them all out of sight, out of mind for several thousand years.
Well, I mean, there's like what? Humans have been connected to like over 225 species going extinct. Like direct human action extincted like 200 some species. But then there's also like evidence that we like genocided like 17 different species as well.
I was gonna say you're forgetting. Yeah, I was gonna say don't forget the amount that we accidentally killed. Like just through making new habitats and
Well,
stuff.
that's what I'm saying. That's where the 200 comes from. But then there's like several species throughout humanity's history that we had targeted. Like even when we were just clans that were nomadic, we had targeted certain species for extinction and just hunted them until there was none left.
Like wolves. Wolves either joined us or died.
No, I was talking more about that two-story gorilla creature, the biggest extremist or whatever the hell it's called.
Oh yeah, that fucking thing.
We hunted those to death. Saber cats, woolly mammoths.
Well, they didn't. I don't believe woolly mammoths were explicitly targeted. They
The
were
woolly
just a good
mammoths.
No,
source.
we
No,
found
woolly
several
mammoths
mammoth
just sort of
graveyards.
died out. No, I thought woolly mammoths just sort of died out because their
They did
genetics
because
eventually
of climate
failed.
change, but we also had found several mammoth graveyards at the foot of cliffs. Because apparently, what humans used to do to clear woolen mammoths out of an area is start fires to direct them to a cliff and have them charge off a cliff in large numbers.
Oh my god, they lemming them to death.
Fun fact: lemmings don't actually do that.
That was Disney being assholes.
Yep.
Yep.
But yeah, no, and then there was the buffalo. We did that too.
Well, the buffalo were not explicitly targeted. They were overhunted. Like, I'm not saying they
But
didn't do it. I'm saying that was not a specific plan, Steve.
man, humans are dicks. Yes, yes, we are.
Oh boy, yes we are.
Anyway.
You have no idea.
We are spiteful, vindictive,
We are
tenacious,
angry little
persistent.
species.
We can be just as nice. We can be as nice as we are mean.
Yes, that is a thing. Oh, human history is fucking wild. But anyway, let's see. Blah blah blah. Also, a funny little thing is humans monsters that we invent in humanity's stories. They all have two things, or well, three things really, but technically really two. They always out-endure us, and they're either stronger and or faster. Big thing.
Well, I was gonna say you're forgetting some, like the fairies, that sometimes they're just smarter than us.
Yeah, but those aren't like the monsters you have to fear. We're all gonna get killed by the monsters. We're gonna wipe that. Like the fairies, like take a kid here and there, but it's not like
Yes.
genocide. Like
Yeah.
all the stories that we have about, creatures in the dark and shit, it's like, oh, these towns will be wiped out by these creatures and shit like that. And that humanity's greatest fear is finding a creature that can do human better than humans.
Because that's a problem.
Yeah. Yeah, it is a problem. What the fuck? Wow, someone is really trying to push Warhammer 2 on me for the Total War game.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, like, hey, $50, 50% off coupon. Okay.
I mean, for 50, if you have the first one for 50% off, I would say get it. Like, it's a really nice expansion pack.
Yeah. Anyway.
Oh, hey, Dark Souls is a weekend deal.
As
Yeah.
such, it brought about the world of today. The demons of old were now weak monsters and half-breeds of creatures of low-level power. The grand and terrific summons were replaced by smaller and weaker creatures. The yokai had been weakened over the years by the crossbreeding of species, and now even the most powerful of demon kind could be defeated by a powerful human. I really, yes, I really like the author's portrayal of this. Is like, oh yeah, humans are just so good at being trash that we made everyone else worse.
But see, I like the idea that humanity was eventually able to beat dragons because of bards.
Bards are humanity's greatest strength. They shall suck us into a supremacy.
Clip it! Clip it!
Thanks for the eugenic-based lesson for yokai. Yeah, thanks, author. As for the ninja, they had been replaced by witches and wizards. Chakra was now called magic and was less potent than it had been at one time. Now, only humans descended from the clans of old had the ability to wield chakra, and yet they needed an object of great power to focus their abilities. See, that's something I never really got with some Naruto and Harry Potter stories that, tried to do this angle. It's the chakra system is an actual system that can be cut with, like, blades. You can remove it with surgery. It's an actual circulatory system in the body. It's not like a spiritual thing. It's an actual physical thing. And magic in Harry Potter is not. They don't cross over unless you're saying, oh, humanity eventually evolved to not have chakra, which doesn't make sense at all unless there was a massive famine and people who had less chakra in such a scenario where there'd be literal centuries of famine. People who needed to consume less food would last longer. So people with less chakra would last longer. So yes, that would be the only scenario in which people would, over time, have less chakra. Unless you're saying, oh, actually, it's because everyone's now a half-breed of demon and summon animal that they have less chakra. Which doesn't make sense because the other side is getting weaker and humans are getting stronger. If you have a 50-pound weight and you have a 10-pound weight, but by their powers combined, they make a 30-pound weight baby. You know.
Where are you going with this?
I don't know where. Look, I have consumed a few drinks at this point. I don't know where. Basically, what my point is that I'm saying that if you take power away from a high tier thing, and because the power is being taken, because the resulting child is stronger than a human, but weaker than the parent, non-human, then the demi-human children over time would still be stronger than the normal standard human. So humans using chakra would not lose it if they're breeding with creatures stronger than them. You see what I'm trying to say?
Yes.
Calvin thinks I'm talking about chakrams. Alright, fine. Let me get my paint skills.
Oh no.
Apparently this is not being comprehended. So you got demon. Let me just draw you got demon here. And you got human here. And if demons are starting up here and getting weaker by crossbreeding with humans, then humans, by that logic, would be getting stronger with their children would be stronger than them because they are breeding with a demon. Which means the middle point would be around here. So say the half-breeds would be going like this. Still stronger than your human. Like humans wouldn't go like, oh yep, nope, we're going this way now. No. TLDR, furries did nothing wrong.
They existed.
If anything, wouldn't the chakra network mutate or alter over time from crossbreeding? Well, see, it's possible, yes, because you could say the magic involved with demons and summons could be mutating it, but chakra networks, because the author hasn't identified anything else, would not be affected otherwise, because demons and summons do not have chakra networks, which means humans would be the only ones providing the genes for a chakra network, which means any mutation for the chakra networks would be passed down through the human side of the genes only. Remember your Punnett squares, kids!
What if I don't want to remember my Punnett squares?
Well, then you're just going to be a little bit worse at genetics, like this author here.
I see.
Yes. Nailed it, Calvin. Anyway, so blah blah blah, the Jubby is bored, and he's sleeping for millions of years, and he's decided that the mortal realm is lame and dumb, and there's 4 dead people here, and he's like, oh man, this guy reminds me of Orochimaru. So he yeets Orochimaru's clone, and goes, hey, this kid's sort of like Naruto, and I really miss Naruto, so I'm gonna give this kid the abilities of Naruto and crap. And I'm just gonna reset time, I guess, or something. Yeah. He's just gonna be like, yo, I'm actually gonna give a
Because
bunch
that's
of
just something
abilities
you do.
to Harry Potter as the old man is placing Harry Potter on his doorstep of his aunt. And Juby's gonna really nostalgia a bunch and be like, yeah, this is a good decision. I'm gonna give Harry Potter 10% of my power and knowledge on every subject. And then Harry Potter cocooned himself in magic and then evolved into a demon. And became super strong and impenetrable.
I see.
And then Harry Potter would awake from his slumber and would be super stronger now. And he was super smart. And he looked like a king. And he opened his eyes to reveal lilac-colored sclera with 5 commas in his eyeballs. Blah 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 blah. Around the world, everyone realized what happened, and they were shock-faced. But there was also celebrations because Demon God and stuff. And everyone's like, oh man, a demon's walking the earth. GG.
No re.
Harry Potter once more awoke to the sound of banging upon his bedroom door. Growling, he got up from his bed and stalked towards the door. Today was his 11th birthday, and he knew he had explicitly ordered the humans to leave him be today. It would seem they needed to learn their place once more. Wrenching the door open, he glared at the frightened form of Vernon Dursley. What? He snapped as his emerald eyes glowed dangerously. Vernon shivered as he shakily held out a small brown envelope. The letter from Hogwarts, sir, he stuttered out. What is this story? Slamming the door in Vernon's face, blah blah blah. The Dursleys hated him, so he taught them their place. Blah blah blah. Blah blah. Blah blah blah. He put the fear of God into them, specifically him into them. Blah blah. As a demon, he knew that he was a demon, but also he knew he was a demigod because of the god knowledge that the Juby gave him. Unlike his ancestor Naruto, Harry had a limit to how much power he could take. Oh, sorry, or what he could take. And when his uncle was beating him for doing well in class, he reached his limit, and his demonic heritage made itself known with bloodlust and anger. And then the Dursleys found the positions reversed. They no longer abused him, he now abused them.
Because that's the correct response.
And Harry learned a whole bunch of magic about summoning demons and shit like that. And he had a bunch of knowledge on Iljutsu, illusions, seals, weapons, poison, and close combat fighting styles. What are you doing here, Snape? I'm here for Lily's boy. I thought you would be greeting us soon, sir. Hello. He gasped at the boy, and everything was wrong about him because the boy looked evil as shit. But Snape believed the child was the most perfect looking thing on the planet. Oh my god! I'm bleeding from the edginess.
Oh, so much blood! So much edge!
Crawling in my crawl! And Snape looked at him and knew he was being worshipped because he was beautiful and harmless. And Snape realized that Petunia looked at him in fear. Oh, don't mind her. She's just afraid of me. Afraid of what? Of me. Why would she be afraid of you? Why wouldn't she be afraid of me? After a moment to calm his nerves, Snape followed along. He was definitely feeling weird, and it was clearly Potter's doing. There was more to this boy than he thought.
I feel weird. Clearly, it's the new kid's fault.
Yep, makes sense to me.
You know, at least he's blaming it on a magical effect and isn't suddenly finding out that he's highly attracted to Harry Potter.
Or that Harry Potter's a fox boy.
It might just be. Come on, Harry, we need to do shopping. Thank you, sir. Don't mention it. Isn't it because I killed the Dark Lord? How'd you know about that? That's for me to know and you never finding out. Snape just looked at the boy in oddness because the boy was odd and they walked into Diagon Alley. Wow, that first chapter sure was something.
But was it?
I guess. Let's see. I already did Naruto. I already did Harry Potter. I already did Bloodborne. Let's do D times D-Fic. That sounds pretty good. Hold on, just gotta blow my nose. Alright, let us keep going.
Have
Screw
fun,
this,
Arn.
I'm gonna go write about maids. Yeah, you do that, Arn. Go write about maids. I'm now looking forward to the Quentin Tarantino Star Trek bullshit that's coming out. It can't be worse than the crap we just read. Those are some bold words, sir. Those are some bold words. The King of Ruin. Satanael, once an angel of order, now becomes Satan, the King of Ruin.
Do we have to look at this one?
Mm-hmm. And swears revenge on those who have wronged him. Alternative Universe D times D self-insert OC with many changes. Features elements from other video games and mangas. Rated T for violence and cursing. Very powerful yet restrained. Original character self-insert. Pairings are undecided. Don't let Satanel's relationship with Gabrielle fool you. Note, there will be elements from other popular games, but not enough to be considered crossovers. They are cameos at best. Set in my D times D story, because my OC must have a harem. Hold on.
Are you okay over there?
I'm not sure what he's doing. Yeah, Calvin, I think he's mixing a new drink.
Yeah. Now he's drinking it.
Alright, let's go.
Got your liquid courage, huh?
Oh, it ain't courage that's making me do this.
Liquid stupidity, perhaps.
Exactly. Gotta lower my IQ to manage this. Otherwise, I'll take sanity damage.
I'm see. What's funny is alcohol is a way to treat sanity damage in that game.
Exactly. I know. Suthner was a middle-class angel assigned to be in Archangel Gabriel's personal legion. He was a very hard-working angel to repay the Almighty for his kindness, and the Archangel herself for her acceptance of him into the legion. Due to his below-average physical health, he was ranked 987 of the 1,000
See, I've never understood.
angels.
This angel had below average. What do you mean below average? They're beings created by God. Like, do you think God was just like, you know what? That dude's gonna have asthma. And that angel is always gonna have a hangnail. And that one gets to be buff.
Well, you see, Atin, it's like when you're making a species and you have to pick negative traits to balance out the positive traits. You just make a bunch of shitty angels to balance out the positive angels.
So you're telling me the reason this guy has asthma is so that Michael could be good?
Yes, exactly. You know, looking at this 2-liter bottle of whiskey, I didn't think I'd be drinking so much of it, but here I am. Middle-class angel. He's got a little house with a dog and 2.5 kids, a wife, with a loan on the house and a mortgage as well.
Okay.
God. He could only do mediocre tasks, such as bringing weapons for the higher ranks or doing errands for Gabriel, but he was happy with it. Even the lady herself had been calling him for such things lately, so he knew he would be promoted soon, and Satnail could finally purge the demons in the name of his lady and god. Correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't Satan the progenitor of the demons?
No, so at least in the actual Bible, the way it works is demons are just angels
Right. Yeah.
that have fallen, and
Yeah.
Satan was second in command, but
Right.
Satan wanted to be first.
Right.
And so he rounded up a bunch of people, and he basically was like, guys, things will be way better if I'm in charge.
Right.
So support me as God and help me fight God. And they
Right.
were like, yes! And then they lost. And God was like, and down you go.
Right. Okay.
And that's where all of them came from.
Mm-hmm. Right. So that's the 72 demons that's listed in the Book of Solomon.
It's not known if those are the only ones,
Mm-hmm.
but those are, as far as we know, the 72 lieutenants, for want of a better word.
Right. Right. So okay. So it comes back to the point then of this fucking story is just like, hey, guys, I know there's already an established canon for how this whole system works out, but here's my AU for demons. Thanks, author. I'll be sure to remember your AU a little bit more than I remember the Bibles. Or D times D's.
I'm sorry, did you just call the Bible an AU?
No, I called it canon.
Oh, okay. Because for a second I thought that's what you've done. I was like, well, that's a
Look,
hot take.
If you really think about it, every religion is just an AU of canon.
Well, depending on who you ask, every other religion is just an AU of a real religion.
Do you think we could sell Bible canons?
I'd buy one.
Kickstart that. Jewish ninja stars. Bible canon.
Do I need to pull out the plans with the Kevlar Bibles again?
Yes!
Yes.
I still think we should sell that. Kevlar Bibles. Yeah. Holy body armor. Come on, man. Step up your game. Protected by the science of man and the holy word. Color me interested. Okay. We got one buyer. Satin Nail was disgusted at himself for ever harboring feelings toward Lady Gabriel other than respect and loyalty. He secretly consulted this matter.
Also, again, no, not a thing that happens.
He secretly consulted this matter with the so-called Master of Love he heard from the gossiping fellow Samael. The suspicious-looking archangel explained to him that this feeling was called love and briefed him with sizable information about such emotions. Satnail almost yelled out that doing such things was a great sin and was guaranteed to fall. You will do fine. No one gets fallen just by confessing his love, my boy Satnail. Just look at your fellow brothers. Satnail frowned but nodded at his words nonetheless. Don't worry, my boy. I will personally back you up. Samael used his enhanced vision to search for something. He smiled. Gabriel is currently in the sanctum with his lordship discussing. Wait until the Lord is gone and do it. I will follow you right away. Satnail bowed at the archangel and made his way. When he was out of earshot, Samael let out a malicious grin. When he was out of earshot, he let out a malicious grin. I'm sorry, do malicious grins come with background music that you have to do it out of earshot?
In this shitty
They come with a
universe,
lightning
I'm gonna
strike.
guess yes.
They clearly come with a lightning strike and maybe a wolf's howl, just for safe measure.
Definitely, you can't forget about the light flickers.
The power of Christ blesses these giant metal balls.
I'm sorry?
I feel like that was something they might have done actually with cannons, like Father.
By
we
the
need you to
power
bless
of
thee.
Christ, be exercised like the cannon bastard. Boom!
Oh, I mean, I'm gonna regret saying it. I am so gonna regret saying this, but yes, blessing things like that was done.
I mean, what was it? Priest blesses shipment of M16s or whatever it was. Google, help me out here. Priest blesses gun. Russian priest blessing. Yeah, here we go. Meanwhile, in Russia, he's blessing all the tanks too. The power of Christ compels you. Fire the lead.
Not gonna lie, it's shit like that that sends people conflicting signals on Christianity.
Except
So-
that's an Orthodox
And it's not just Orthodox priests. That's the issue. Like, it's not just the Orthodox. It's not just Catholicism.
Oh, I'm sure the imams bless the revolutionaries' guns. as they free themselves from the American pig dogs that occupy the country. Oh, LCA.
I could say something that would get us in trouble, but I'm not going to.
Just remember, as long as we're pro-Islam, Twitch won't ban us.
Please stop trying to get us banned.
They probably do, Zeeks. They probably do. Because, you know, it is jihad. As such, it is a holy battle, blessed by God. Or Allah. You think anyone will notice the difference? They might. You never know. You never know when you're fighting someone possessed by a demon, and you start shooting them, and they just start screaming out and like spasming as black smoke pours from their mouth. Because, you know, you're using a blessed gun. My lady, it's you, Satinail. What's the matter? Gabriel beamed the usual kind smile of hers to Satinail. The latter felt like his heart skipped a beat in the moment before speaking with all his courage. It's considered a sin to do this, but his eyes closed shut. I love you, my lady Gabriel. The Archangel gasped in surprise and embarrassment at the confession. She could not find any words to say. Satinail continued. Wait, so in D times D, from what I remember, which is not that much, but from what I remember, it was having unpurified sex that made you fall, and lusting that made you fall. An angel can love another angel just fine. It was unpurified sex and lust that made them fall. Gabriel's a whammon? In this story, she is.
I was going to say, and I'm just assuming here that the thought process there is, oh, well, God only says unmarried sex is bad.
Well, in the D times D lore, how angels can reproduce without falling is by doing this big long purification ritual and then doing the most basic bitch of sexual positions for the shortest period of time to induce child making procedures.
I see.
Mm-hmm. The more you know. It's perfectly fine to turn me down, my lady. I'm already prepared. I've already prepared. I am already prepared my heart for it. Okay. And I am willing to take any punishments, and that's what I'm about to do right now. Samael appeared with a group of guards and said, "What?" Behind him was the God Almighty himself and a furious Raphael drawing the sword of judgment. Both Satanael and Gabriel stared at them dumbfounded before the guards moved to apprehend the former, and Raphael stood before the latter protectively. Satanael, how could you plot to, pardon my language, rape your ladyship and make her fall with you?
So I feel like blatant lying should be doing something here.
Samael asked with a mock disapproving expression. The angel in question was confused. But my lord, I don't know what rape is. How can I do such a thing to Lady Gabriel? He inquired with a straight face. He doesn't need to inquire with a straight face. He just needs to inquire. If he literally doesn't know what rape is, he doesn't need to be like, I am totally straight manning this right now. It's just, I'm genuinely confused. What is this crime you are confusing me of? I don't even know what it is. Raphael almost murdered him before his father stopped him with a look. Don't you dare joke with me, scum. Raphael snarled. Samael faked a frown at his brother while walking towards Satanel and whispering something to him. His eyes widened in shock as he forced himself to kneel despite the restraints from the guards. My lord, I did not attempt to do such blasphemous and disgusting actions toward Lady Gabriel. I have served her with my utmost dedication and have not once harbored such a thought. Okay. My son, I am very disappointed in you. Attempting to violate my daughter is already grievous, and now you're lying to me. You have sunk in too much, Satanel. Samael, if you may.
It's not how any of this works.
It's not even how that works in D&D canon. Like, God is literally omnipotent and omnipresent in D&D canon. That is why all the other pantheons...
As he is in normal canon.
Yeah, I know, but that's why in all the other pantheons we're like, holy shit, we gotta back off from Christianity because we literally can't fight God. He is too strong even if we all united together.
Because he's everywhere, and he can do everything.
He is literally beyond our power level as gods. And that's D&D canon. So D times D canon. And it's just like, I'm pretty sure an omnipotent and omnipresent, omniscient God would be capable of telling when an angel is lying to him if he wanted to. Just saying. No, just saying. Yet he dies in a war. Well, no, technically, Aura, actually, God in D times D weakened himself immensely, sealing back the apocalypse, and because of that, ended up dying in a war while fighting the 4 strongest demons in the world. And, like their whole army. But, yeah, I mean, he still died because he sealed, like, I think canon was, like, nearly all of his power into sealing back the Beast of Apocalypse. And at that point, it still took the 4 strongest demons in D times D canon to kill him.
And I assume at least one of them bit it.
Oh, all 4 of them died.
Oh. As it should be.
A shit ton of people died to kill God, who had already weakened himself to the point of near powerlessness. So...
I am currently at 1/383rd of my actual ability. You might win.
I was only using 1% of my power. Understood,
I can't tell you
Father.
what % of my power I was using, because I have all the power.
Samael showed a projection of Satanel's earlier meeting with the Archangel, but something was very wrong. He was spouting words about his desire to rape Gabriel, and Samael was trying to advise him against it, but he didn't listen and stormed away. He was silent, trying to digest the scream before realization dawned on his face. He lunged at Samael with a roar. How dare you set me up? Tisk tisk. How the noble and ever-vigilant Satanel has fallen, Samael sighed. Do you see this, Father? This proves that even the most trusted and considered to be incorruptible can be corrupted. We must act quickly or else it will be too late. And sister, he turned to Gabriel, thank you for your cooperation. Without you putting a facade, we could not have catched this filth so easily. What are you saying? Don't you tell... Don't
Use
tell
your
me, your
words.
ladyship conspired this with him too. Satan now looked at Gabriel with horror in his eyes, despite the latter trying to explain she did not. Okay, so literally everyone's just holding the idiot ball. You did this crime. I did not do this crime. Person next to him. What are you talking about? He did not do this crime. First person. I have a recording of you telling me you were going to do this crime. What the hell? That is not me telling you I did this crime. Yes, it is. No, says person B. It is not him. Person A. Yes, it is clearly him. I can't believe B and C are conspiring together now. B turns to C. How dare you betray me?
What is this? The sequence of it, like,
What?
what is this sequence of events?
What is this escalation?
Canon had. There is such a hard swerve to the DxD canon here to make this happen.
This is why I hate self-insert original characters most of the time, because they are usually so contrived that it's just like, what the hell? I mean, look at your self-inserts. Look at my self-insert with the Dark Souls story. I mean, it's not really a self-insert. It's more just an OC with traits that I like. But you could call it a self-insert with some stretch, with lots of stretch. But still, it's an OC that I created specifically because I liked those traits. None of those are contrived. Like, we didn't try and jam them into the storyline of the Dark Souls story. Valkyrie didn't I mean, yes, we had that little thing with the witch thing, but that was all planned out beforehand. But Valkyrie wasn't the reincarnation of Gwyn's wife or some shit or whatever,
Nah, she's just some crazy bitch.
Yeah, she's just some crazy human who's got a bit of a soul of a god stuck in her.
Actually, that's the most contrivance. Like, why did the shard pick that specific one? It was there.
Basically. Actually, yes. It's just it doesn't require contrivance. Getting a self-insert OC or just an OC into a story doesn't require that OC to have interacted with every single character in the canon beforehand.
No, the really the biggest contrivance should really be how they got there, and at what point in the story they show up.
Yeah.
Did they show up at the beginning? Did they show up midway through?
Or as you guys did it.
Did they even show up near a plot-relevant area?
Exactly, yeah. Or as you guys did it, you guys showed up by falling out of a portal and falling to your death.
Yeah. She got punted through a portal to our deaths.
And so it's just, it's so frustrating.
As you do.
As one does in an isekai scenario.
Yeah, I don't know. Get knocked into Fire Emblem Awakening. Okay, cool, where am I? Well, you're currently on the Valm continent. Well, shit.
Can I get a do-over?
It's like being isekai'd into Mass Effect, and then, you wake up on, I don't know, Palavan. Just completely unrelevant to any plot whatsoever in Mass Effect canon. Just
that or waking, you wake up in the Star Wars universe on Dantooine.
Yeah, on Tatooine. Yeah, it's just
you're dead.
No,
Congratulations. You're now on Tatooine's older cousin. Get
Damn.
you're on
fucked.
Dantooine in just the middle of like halfway through the Old Republic. Like nothing important is happening. You're just on a farming planet.
You're
Yep.
stuck there.
Like maybe if you work your entire life and rob your neighbors blind, you'll eventually be able to get off the planet when you're 43.
Hell, at that point, just make it like. At that point, maybe contrive like, oh, I managed to leave a diary of everything that would happen the next like 10,000 years, and accidentally start a cult.
I accidentally became Nosferatu. And God, at this moment, knew that something was wrong. He knew that Satnel, who was known as the Angel of Order and Loyalty. I love how Satnel is known as like this big title of Angel of Order and Loyalty. Except he's like the weakest fucking angel. It's like trash does not get nicknames. Like that rat you fight in the sewers at level 1 isn't like the rat of ravenous biting. It's just sewer rat. You don't get a special title when you're,
Useless.
yeah. Well, I mean, not only that, you also don't get a special title for doing what an angel's supposed to do, which is follow orders and be loyal to God.
Yeah.
So, oh,
Wow. You're doing
wow,
your
you
job.
managed to perform the sole purpose of your existence. Congratulations. Have a title. Oh god, it gets worse from here. Would not commit such heresy, but without clear proofs, he could not say anything. Clear.
What?
I, God, the omnipotent, omnipresent, omniscient God, cannot clearly prove someone is innocent of a crime, even though I created them. And,
And I
their
can
soul.
tell that I can literally say that guy's lying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like the one being in all creation that literally has no reason or desire to lie. I the
It's even
it's
better when it's like,
ridiculous.
hey, this guy, who is, even though he's weak, is so loyal and so devoted to his duty. I'm gonna believe he's lying on the drop of the hat. It's like, what? Did someone say heresy? Yeah, basically. While Raphael demanded to let him handle the execution, Samael suggested the most merciful solution: cast him down to the mortal world. Ha 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 ha. What now, scum? Raphael shouted. Ha 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 ha. I understand it now, Satnel suddenly yelled out with maniac glee. I have been a toy for you all to play with from the beginning, a weak but willing toy. He dryly laughed. Born without the necessary help to do his duty, angel of order doing his errands like a fucking slave.
What? Oh, I see. Now all of a sudden, he's just flipped the switch, has he?
Yes, he's gone dark! Take him out! You can no longer deceive me, false god. What? Okay, actually, you know what? No, I retract that statement. I'm actually kind of with Satnel on this. If the omnipresent, omnipotent, omniscient God cannot tell that Satnel did in fact not do the crimes he's being accused of, then I guess he is a false god who's claiming to be omnipresent, omnipotent, and omniscient.
I mean, yes, but that's just because the writer's fucking stupid.
Yes, I recognize the fact that it was all brought about by writer contrivance, but I mean, the character does have a point then.
Yes.
Why you? Why you? You act like an innocent girl, but in reality, you already bitch in sheep's clothing. Dost thou even thrust? My lady, Gabriel was almost to her knees at the accusation. What? That's it. I will tear your body apart, heretic. No need. I will do it myself. No, reached his wings and began to pull. The sound of flesh and bones being torn from his back sickened those present, even Samael. Despite the immense pain, he did not scream. Instead, his smirk kept growing until it became a slasher's smile. The process was finished, and he threw his bloody wings, but defined him as an angel to the feet of God. No, it didn't define. In D times D, the angel wings, the wings in general, actually don't define you as a species. They are your source of power. They are
So
a
why would you ever
physical
get rid of them?
manifestation of your power. The power of the edgy protagonist is too strong. We gotta take him out before he hits his next power level. Oh, no, that's actually that would actually make for an interesting original story. The big bad is meta knowledgeable about stories like these and is trying to take out the hero before he can end up on his rocky training arc where he gets immeasurably stronger, but is also trying to balance it out without sending the hero onto his rocky training arc by trying to assassinate him early. Because he also recognizes that as one of the means of starting that arc.
If I don't get him soon enough, he becomes a problem. But if we get him too soon, he becomes a problem.
That'd actually be a really interesting, light novel idea of the story. Probably would sell well in Japan. The big bad is making sure the hero is well fed and happy, surrounded by people he loves, who all die due to old age, and not because of any particular happenstance, like a bandit attack or something.
I would say, just go out of your way, make sure he has a nice, happy life, and that no one in his family gets murdered.
But at the same time, also subtly tries to kill him by having a cliff collapse underneath him as his family's traveling because of an earthquake that occurred. Natural earthquake,
Yeah.
of course. That already exists.
Hey, man, I couldn't cause an earthquake. I tried once. All I got was some angry ground.
That's how Earth elementals exist.
Earth elementals, angry ground. But wait, why do fire elementals exist? I don't want to talk about it.
See, good story. That could be funny. I would never write though. I'm terrible at writing. Anyway, so I won't allow myself
I'm sorry,
to be
Pedro,
tainted.
what do you mean that exists?
Yeah, I want links in the Discord, of course, because we can't.
Now, I
put
will say
links.
this: there was a really fun set of books I read called The Dark Lord's Handbook, where the entire book is about basically good and evil are actual beings,
Mm-hmm.
and evil got sick and tired of losing, so he wrote the book on how to be a Dark Lord. And he's like, listen, This book is going to tell you all the stupid things you shouldn't do.
Okay.
And it's about someone trying to execute on that.
All right.
I actually enjoyed it quite a bit. It's a couple of books,
Yeah,
and
the meta-ish stories are definitely very niche, but if they're written well, they can be very funny and enjoyable.
I was gonna say I think it was well handled, but that's just me.
It's a light novel where the dude is destined to be isekai'd when he dies and defeat the big bad. And people of that world have dimensional travel, so the big bad sends minions to protect the guy, and good guys are sending assassins to kill him, so he can be isekai'd into saving their world from the big bad. That's sort of what it was, yeah, I guess. I'm talking about like less comedic situational humor and more from big bad perspective, sort of. I'm trying to get this guy killed, but without me having direct involvement in it that would lead back to me causing the character to become a hero and thus be destined to defeat me. I've decided I suffer from low self-esteem. Is that a fact? From now on, my goal is to feel good about myself. You're going to work harder at everything and build some character? No, I'm going to whine until I get the special treatment I like. I wonder if anyone else is as scared about the future as I am. I found that immediate gratification is the only thing that helps me. Jesus Christ, Calvin Comics. Too on point.
Oh, dude, Bill Watterson is so on point.
I have the complete collection. The 3 giant books that you could probably brain someone with.
I think my favorite thing about that, there was a Foxtrot one about that when that first came out, because Bill Amend was a huge fan of Bill Watterson, and I guess they knew each other. Um, and it's the mom going, "Hey Peter, you want to move the collected Calvin and Hobbes books to the other side of the house for a while? Huh? Why? Why would I need to do that?" And then it pans out to their house. Oh, no reason, and the house is like tilted up at a 45.
And they are fairly heavy. I love those books though, man. I literally would read myself to sleep with Calvin and Hobbes comic book with the Calvin and Hobbes complete collection.
Oh, same.
Oh, I love
Well,
that
and
series.
oh man, my grandfather had pretty much all of them. So we read through like all the Calvin and Hobbes books, and we did it more or less in order, because you could tell like, oh, this is an older art style, so this is probably the start, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we get all the way to that last ending strip, and good lord, that ending strip, yo.
Oh, it hurts. I'll even drop a Calvin and Hobbes fic, the only one I've ever favorited, in the fan fiction section after this podcast is over because of what it covers, and it's just like, oh, I'm taking like massive feeling damage right now.
I'm sorry. Apparently, Pedro's saying Calvin and Hobbes is annoying in tests. What test is Calvin and Hobbes in?
Apparently, Calvin and Hobbes is so amazing that Brazil uses them for English tests.
Huh.
Yes, Bill did have a habit of using big words.
All right, so let's get this story wrapped up and we can call it a night. Anyway, I won't allow myself to be tainted with the black, but I allow hatred and malice to fill my heart and soul. Stop, Satan L. I beg you, any more, and you can no longer walk on heaven again. Shut your trap, Gabriel the bitch. Satan L. snarled. He was 1 inch to the pit, door to the underworld. Mark my words, I will train my body and then gather an army, a legion of my own, to level this disgusting place before killing you all, starting with you, dear father. Satan, I cannot tolerate your words anymore. I banish you to the pandemonium and forever get trapped there. So be it. I shall be Satan now no more. From now on, I am Satan, and I shall get my revenge no matter how long it takes. And then he fell into the dark pit. Calvin and Hobbes comics are used in Portuguese tests across the board in the country. The entirety of the teenage Brazilian population have a separate part of their brain labeled used to analyze Calvin and Hobbes. That's great. That's fantastic. I love that. I would ace all of those Portuguese tests if I could speak Portuguese then. For hundreds of years, Satan had a rocky training montage and became super strong, and he wiped out devils with the flick of his hand. And then he met a demoness called Leviathan and saved her from an angel patrol, and she swore loyalty to him. Satan was pleased. And then Satan and Leviathan gathered up a war band with the tactician Beelzebub and Master of Stealth Asmodeus, and they went on to adventure and capture more of the underworld under Satan's leadership. And so Satan got an army together, and they went to go fight God.
And they lost.
Time skip. Satan stared dumbfounded at Hellel, his eldest brother, or what Hellel had become, rather. Alongside him was a large number of blackened angels, or Asmodeus had called them, fallen angels. Much to his delight, Samael was among them. But personal vendetta later, he had to ask Hellel, "Brother, what sin did you commit to be casted into the underworld?" "He asked us to bow to them," Hellel spat out venomously. "We, the angels, have to bow to monkeys? Ridiculous. Excuse me, we are murder monkeys, and I demand you call us by our proper namesake." "Ah, I see," Satan chuckled while taking a good look at the black angels in the front row. "Azazel, what could possibly make a brilliant individual like you fall? Certainly you don't care about his decisions and all." Well, that's a very personal question. I would like to answer at a different time." And then everyone was giggling. "Oh well, what done is done. Let us go find a suitable place for all of you to stay." And he turned to his newfound General Lucifer. "Can I trust you with this task, Lucifer?" "With pleasure, my lord." "Good. Now, my brothers, let us head towards the castle. You must be hungry." Author's note. I won't be focusing in the Great War that much, since my current idea only covers it at 2 chapters at best. The shift in personality of my self-insert of C is explained by exposing him for too long to dark magic, so now he's insane.
What? You dumb author.
I need more alcohol. I need to heal this sanity damage.
You're dumb. Your premise is dumb. Your writing is hack-eyed at best.
Yep. Yep. Mm-hmm. It's a dumb premise built off of the need of having a self-insert OC who is also the strongest devil who gathers an army, which therefore allows him to be like, I am the strongest, so I get all the whammon. And that's how he gets his harem, because he's the strongest. These people are sad and pathetic. It's just... Look, I'm not a person that can give out relationship advice, author. I'm not. But even I can tell you that maybe you should work on your personality a bit more. If you're trying to get laid. I'm not saying you have to be a good person or a bad person to get laid. I'm just saying you have to be a little bit more less fucking edgy. And maybe frothing at the mouth about how you're going to get revenge on all the people that have wronged you in your life. Again, coming from me, ironic, I know. But I can speak from experience.
Pot kettle.
Maybe not frothing at the mouth about how you're going to get stronger than everyone so you can fuck all the women. Maybe that is part of the issue as to why no women want to fuck you. Now, again, I'm not a person that can give relationship advice. I'm the last person to talk about revenge schemes, but just saying. Anyway, with that being said, they are at 9 o'clock, actually, and that wraps
We're
up
done.
the night. Yeah, I appreciate everyone that showed up. Of course, I command ye all to gather up the people that you wish to torture the most or who would be interested, and to spread the word about this podcast, because the more people that show up in the comment section, the more jokes and otherwise ignoring we can do of the fanfics we're actually reading. And with that, though, there isn't much more to say, so I will see you next time at 7 p.m. on Tuesday. Because there is always more and it always gets worse.